Hi YouTube, Rylana Moonstone here. So where have I been? Kind of a complicated question. The last few weeks, and then I guess really the last couple of months. I would say that my absence has been mostly in regards to depression. I suffer from depression and anxiety. I am not currently in therapy, and I do not take medication for it. Now, the anxiety portion of the program has been tremendously reduced by my spiritual workings in the last few years. And when anxiety hits, it doesn't take me too long to remove it and get back on track. In fact, I had a panic attack like a month or so ago, and then before that, it had been months since I had had one. So that's actually a good track record for me. And I was also able, when I did have that panic attack, to say, no, this isn't cool. What do I need to do to change that going forward? And I did some stuff, and it was helpful. Now, the depression portion, however, unlike the anxiety, the depression, however, will just, a confluence of events will just make it hit. I don't feel I have control over that. I have learned over the last few years through my spiritual work to recognize when it's coming, recognize when it has hit, recognize how to use certain tools to eventually pull me out of it, but I haven't learned how to keep it from happening in the first place. So I think it is a neurochemical issue for me. However, also through my spiritual work over the last few years, I have been able to greatly reduce the duration, and also recognize much faster what really is going on, and no, I'm not crazy, and be able to pull myself out of it. Don't worry, I'm not saying, you can just pull yourself out of depression. Think positively. No, it doesn't work that way. But once I have the recognition that I'm in a depression, there are tools that I can use that will steadily, step by step, me out of it. So today's my first day out. Hence the video. It's taken me a couple of months. That's okay. It's a confluence of events, being in limbo over an opportunity that the magician has that will greatly change and influence our lives if it goes through. And we do want it to go through. But the process has been a very long one, where on September 6th, it will make 6 months that we've been working on it. And I know, at least through what information I can gather, there's another good 3-4 months left before we know yay or nay. We actually thought it was a no. And that changed. And so it's put us in a status of limbo where we can't do some other things in the meantime that we might do because of how drastically our lives would change if it is a yes. The whats and wherefores of that, I will probably not disclose on the channel for privacy reasons due to the opportunity that it is. So, I don't deal well with limbo. In addition, one of the things this opportunity would change is our financial situation, which means that in the meantime, I don't really have the means of fixing the financial situation. I don't do good with not being able to fix, and I've had to make some choices in the last couple of months that I didn't enjoy making. And poverty is a trigger issue for me. Oop. My clock's going on. When I say a trigger issue for me, I mean that in my life, years ago, I was homeless. So now I have a lot of security issues wrapped around the issue of money. I'm working on it. I'm working on my mindset with it. I'm working on where my focus is, but also where I think, in a broader sense, the place of money and the current monetary system we are finding ourselves in, where I think I should be, what I think it should be, and that helps me process a little bit of how to keep the anxiety out of my life. But I'm sorry, the reality is when I have to make a choice between somebody's car alarm is going off. We live across the street from a hospital, which makes it really noisy around here sometimes between the sirens and the helicopters, and a parking lot filled with cars that go off. Anyway, the reality is that when I have to make a choice between car insurance, which for my husband to keep his job he has to have, and feeding my children that week, and those are my choices, anxiety does pop up. That is the reality. And I have to talk my way and use my tools to figure out a way to, yes, deal with the reality of the situation that is in my lap right now, because other people are depending on me to feed them, or other people are depending on me to rectify the situation or find a solution, even when it seems like there isn't one. That produces anxiety. Anytime you are a parent, or in my case, a mother, who is faced with an empty cupboard and an empty pocketbook to fill that cupboard, it will produce anxiety. So I've been working on my perceptions so that I can be in the situation and try and maneuver to a different situation without it destroying my sanity in the process. And so that it doesn't make me sick, because anxiety has been such an issue for me that I have stress-induced ulcers. I test negative for the H. pylori bacteria, which means that I manage to worry holes into my stomach. So when anxiety pops up again, that can be an extremely physically painful process for me. So coupling anxiety-inducing issues such as that situation we find ourselves in, coupled with limbo, which is just a state that I do not wish to be in, coupled with the lack of routines that I've had, because I do work from home, and both of my children, of course, have been going through summer break and returns to school, and the fact that they are in 2 different school districts, which means that they have 2 completely different schedules that I have to figure out and manage. It's made life a little bit chaotic, and I found myself in a depression. I am back in terms of back on YouTube. I don't know. I make videos when I feel like making videos, but in terms of being back where I feel like I'm back to my old self in my body, that I'm back. It's new and tentative, so I may struggle for a couple weeks more, but I finally feel like my brain is functioning again, which is one of the more difficult parts of depression for me, is that there is a fog that comes over my brain, and I actually feel like I can't think very well. When you can't think very well, it becomes very difficult to come up with solutions to realistic problems, because the solutions aren't coming to you, you know. So I finally feel like myself today, where I actually have a routine I've created for myself and I'm following it, and everything is getting done. That's a good thing. So that's where I've been. When I do become depressed and it hits, I withdraw. Now, let me be clear. When I withdraw, I am not in any danger. That does not mean I withdraw into a shell and I am non-functional. I do warn my husband so that he can pick up some slack of my things that I normally do, so that he is more gentle in his thinking and dealing with me. Because when I am in a depressed state, I find it very difficult to be in that place of peace that I like to be in, of taking no offense and giving no judgment. I will start taking offense to everything. Not taking offense to everything, because everything feels as though it is offending me, or offending me on purpose. In fact, I had one day where it was really bad because people were being mean to me on purpose. Had a real fight with one of my children in which he did something extraordinarily disrespectful to me, and that is very out of character for him. Then I had a wonderful knockdown, drag-out fight with my mother, but she got mad enough at me that she ate, as in ate food, so that's a good thing. It keeps her out of the hospital. But in the meantime, I am persona non grata over there. And then somebody came online and attacked me, personally. Not anybody you know. No, it is not a pagan community drama thing. Nothing to do with that. It was something else entirely. And that one was just meanness for the sake of meanness. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That one actually ended up making me cry. Of course, it was in the same day as the other one. So, and my husband had to just... Sorry, thought someone was at the front door. My husband had to just, hold me, let me cry it out. I think that was the turning point for me. Because lately, in the last year or so, I have had a great deal of peace come over me, and in the way I've been able to detach from feelings, not in a bad way. I'll go over that in the Detached Observer video, but detach from feelings that are very destructive for me. But when I am in a depressed state, which is weird because it's not like I'm, oh my gosh, I'm so depressed, I'm so sad. It's not like that. That's why I say it's a neurochemical thing. It's a very different thing than that, which if you know about depression, you know that it's this fog, this weird fog where you're either up all night or you're so tired you're sleeping the whole time. And so my sleep got out of whack, and that got very difficult to handle once my oldest went back to school, because then, even though I could not sleep and was up until 3 and 4 in the morning, then I had to get up at 6 o'clock so that I could get him up and ready to go to school. And that was extremely difficult. So last night was the first night that I got what I would term a full night's sleep. So I actually slept, I think, 5 or 6 hours last night. So I feel a lot better today physically because of that. But I detach from everybody, everything online. I don't want outside influences. I don't want to engage. I don't want to interact. I want to be left alone so that I can hide under my rock, ride the wave, in my nice little hidey hole. What I was saying before, I realized I had to edit There is no danger there. Saying that I detach from society. If anybody has dealt with depressive, anxious people before, you would have some warning bells that go off and think you need to step in. I am absolutely 100% not suicidal. I have a child with, I have two special needs kids actually. One is special needs in a physical abnormality sense, in a medical sense, I guess I would say, and the other child is has some disabilities in terms of the way his brain works and learning and some mental instability issues. I won't go into both of their diagnoses, but what I will say is that if I am very entrenched in the mental health field, good and bad, because I am an advocate for my son. If I found myself in a depressive state where I was contemplating suicide, I would reach out for help. I would probably put myself into a self 72-hour hold. And yes, I actually can think that clearly when I am in a depressed state. It's more, when I say my brain's in a fog, it's more logistical. Like, you want me to solve an algebra problem now? I had to solve fractions, help my son learn fractions yesterday. Holy cannoli, but I was able to do it. That's part of the reason I know I'm on my way back. But I can think clearly in terms of where I am at. So no, when I say I retract from society, you do not need to worry. It's me going into my hidey hole. It's me putting a metaphoric, a fuzzy blanket around myself and healing myself. And I need to do that. I might still be watching your videos. I might still be on Facebook and stuff. Maybe not every day. And maybe I might not be commenting. But I have to disappear for a while. Because other people's stuff is just too much for me when I'm in a depression. I can't deal with your stuff too. So now, that's where I have been. Now I am back. That's not to say I'll be making a whole mess load of videos. That just means that I am out of my hidey hole and able to re-engage in things I'm interested in. So I will be seeing you around, and I hope you are having a wonderful week. It feels like Monday to me because it feels like a fresh start, but it's really Thursday. So have a wonderful weekend, and if you don't hear from me next week, because that's a busy week for me, because I got another kid going to school, starting school up again, have a wonderful blue moon. All right, talk to you soon.